Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Lee Country Outdoors. Today I'm going to tinker on a Pietta 1873 Pistolero. It's a 357 38 caliber. The hand has been wearing down on it, so I'm going to replace it. But first, I do want to show you something that I had done to my 1861 conversion. As everybody knows, when you buy a black powder revolver, the hammer sticks up kind of high, right off the top. So I had a machinist slash gunsmith that I know. I asked him, could we do a low profile hammer on my conversion? So this is what we've come back with. Okay, you see how far back it is. Now before it was straight up. So, and as you can see, it needs a little bit of polishing, and it definitely needs some polishing on the back side. So it does stay in place, but it is easier to, I'm not going to dry fire it because you're not supposed to dry fire it on a conversion cylinder, but it does work a whole lot better. So I haven't fired any rounds out of it since this has been done, but I will be doing so in the next few days. Probably tomorrow, with it being Father's Day, I'm going to have a little bit of range time. So this will probably be used next week when we do our cowboy match for the Cape Fear Cowboys. So let's put this one to the side. So on my Pietta, I got noticing that the hands were wearing down on it pretty bad. So I went ahead and ordered a different hand for it. The hand that's currently in this pistol has a spring and plunger type hand. In other words, it's first of all, let's do this so everybody can see. It is unloaded. Okay. It has a plunger and spring mechanism that pushes the hand so the cylinder will rotate. It's located right in here, right behind this back strap. And if you're not careful, if you just pull it off, that spring is going to go to Kalamazoo or Sacramento, California, or wherever they go, to the land of the unknown, unless you can find them. Trust me, I've already found out the hard way. That's how it does. So today what we're going to do is replace the hand, and I'm going to replace it with one of what I call the old style that's already got the spring on the hand itself. We ordered this from VTI Gun parts. I'll put their information in the description. So this is what we're looking at. You can see it's got the spring here. It comes up. You can see it better there. I got my hand in the way. And it actually, this spring actually pushes his hand forward, so it will turn the cylinder. Also, what I did, the Piettas, the hammers are great out the box. The triggers are a little bit rough, but not bad. So what I also did, I ordered because I have two of these Piettas. So I ordered two of the wire spring trigger springs, and we're going to install one of those today as well. So without further ado, we're going to get started. And I've got a tray right here so I can put everything in it. Let me put this over here. So first of all, we're going to take the back strap loose, and I like to take, you got two screws here on the back side and then one screw on the bottom. I like to take all three loose at the same time before I take any of them out altogether. If you try to take the two out of the that's right behind the frame, they're kind of stiff and they don't want to turn too good because it is under tension. So, and hopefully we won't lose any screws today. These screws look almost identical. So this is actually pushing, that spring is actually pushing this back strap back. And I don't know if you can see or not, but right in there, there's your spring. So we're going to press down on this a little bit, take the screw out. Okay. And then we're going to ease, and you'll be able to see that spring. Ease this on back. Okay. So you see that spring sticking out right here? There's a plunger behind that. So we're going to take both of these out. I'm going to save them, I'm not going to throw them away. So, there's a bug of some sort. There's a little plunger. It's just like a little steel pin is all it is. We'll put it with that. Some of these screws look almost identical when you take them out, so make sure you know which one goes where. The two for the top of your back strap are just a little bit longer than the one that goes into the bottom. So now we're going to take the hammer spring right here, loosen it. I'm not going to take it all the way out. Then we can slide it to one side. And you got 3 screws on the bottom. 2 are right here by the trigger guard, and then 1 is on the front. And like I said, I like to take them loose first before I take any one of them out. And I'll take the 2 screws and put them side by side, and then I'll take the one by itself and put it somewhere else. That way I don't get them mixed up. Okay. In fact, those 2 are staying right here in the trigger guard. Okay, so now we're down to the inside. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take this trigger spring right here. This is the flat spring. We're going to replace this. Make sure you got a good screwdriver when you're doing this. These screw heads, the groove in them is really tight. You don't want to ruin your screws by having too big of a screwdriver or too thin of a screwdriver. So this is your trigger spring. Okay, we're going to replace that with the Wolff spring, the wire spring. Now we're going to take the trigger screw out and the trigger. I'm going to slide that right back in there like so. Put it to the side. Now we're going to take out our hammer. Your hammer screw is located right here. It's that big one right there. Okay. So we're going to take this hammer screw out, and you can't get it mixed up with anything else. That's the biggest thing you got. Okay. So see, this is our hand on the side of the hammer. The plunger. The plunger actually comes in from the back side and pushes against that hand, pushing it forward. The plunger and the spring. So today we're going to replace that with a new hand. And I don't know if you can see it good or not, but right here on the side, on both edges, you'll be able to see it right here. You'll see it was wore down. In fact, you can see it a little bit better right there. You got it's a burr. There's a burr sticking out right there. My hands and fingers are not working today, folks. Right there, there's a small burr. So we're going to replace this. I actually went on YouTube and or went on a SAS forum a while back and asked about, you know, fixing a hand on a revolver. Some people say if it's not broke, don't fix it. Yeah, I can see that. You know, keep going till it breaks, but you don't want to break in the middle of a match, especially like a state match where, you know, there are awards given out and you're having a great day and you get on your last stage and your revolver jacks up. Well, you've done good, you know, the first 9 stages, and here you're on your last stage and you're having a great day and your revolver jacks up and you still got 3 rounds. Well, guess what? If you shot clean up at that point, then you're not getting a clean shoot. So, but this is kind of a preventive maintenance is what I'm doing today. So, the hammer looks good. Overall, there's no wear and tear on it as far as it need to be replaced. So, what we're going to do, it has a pin right here on that hand. And it goes in that hole, that small hole right there on your hammer. So we're going to take and slide this up in there. and you might have to squeeze that spring a little bit to get it in there, to get it slid down. You're going to have to work it just a little bit back and forth because it wants to grab a little bit. So we're going to put the hammer screw back in. Okay, tighten that down. Okay, that was easy peasy. So now let's do our trigger. Make sure your hammer's all the way down when you install your trigger back. Okay, we got our trigger back on. So now we're going to install that new Wolff spring. Now when you order these springs from Wolff or wherever you order them from, make absolutely sure you're ordering for the revolver you have. A lot of people, I don't know, not a lot of people, but I have heard a lot of, I cannot talk. I have heard some people say that, well, U-Birdie and Pietta is the same thing. Just order a part for one and it'll work up. That is not true. Okay, I actually ordered a spring for one of my black powder revolvers a couple years ago, and they sent me one for a U-Birdie. It was like a 30/2 of an inch shorter than what a Pietta is. It would not work. I mean, you could wish upon a star and it won't grow no longer. So I actually called the company I ordered from, and I can't remember who it was at the time. I actually called them back and said, hey, I think you sent me the wrong thing. And sure enough, they had sent me one for a U-Birdie. So with that being said, make sure you go on here, you're ordering the right part for your revolver. Just cause they're both Italian-made guns and they both look the same, function the same, the parts is going to be off just a little bit, just enough. You want to have to go back and redo. Okay, so we're going to use the same screw in this hammer spring. I'm going to put it right across there like that, having it sitting. Now comes the fun part, trying to get this little bitty screw started. And I can't get my fingers on it. Wow, that went a whole lot better than what I was anticipating. So when you tighten it down, as you can see, one side is shorter than the other one. This long side is going to rest on your trigger back here. Okay, make sure it's resting in there. If it's off to the side, it's not going to work. So with that being said, I'm going to put my finger down in here and see if I can tilt the camera a little bit. I'm going to take my finger and put it down in there and hold it to one side. So when you tighten this down, make sure it's going all the way down. Good and tight, okay? All right. Now we've got our new hand assembly in there. We've got our spring in there. That is okay. All right. So let's put this thing back together. We're going to put the trigger guard back. When you start these screws, start them just a little bit. Don't tighten them all the way down right to begin with. I know these things are made by precision as far as where the screw holes are, your threads and everything, but make sure to do yourself a favor and don't tighten one screw down hoping the rest of them is going to line up. What you could end up doing is cross-threading the screw, which makes for a very bad day. yeah, you cross thread a screw and it's going to make for a very bad day. You're not going to be a happy camper, because once you get that thing cross threaded, it's going to be a booger to get it back out. So, and this is something you can do at home. You can order these parts offline and you can do it at home. There's a bunch of YouTube videos out there to show you how to do it. There's a bunch of people doing these things themselves. Cowboy action shooters, a lot of them will get their own stuff and they'll do it themselves. Okay, so now we're going to put the back strap and handle back on. You definitely want to do this one right here. You definitely want to make sure you start these screws a little bit before you tighten anything up. Sometimes the worst one is that little one on the bottom. It don't want to line up in any manner, but thankfully today it did. So we went ahead and tightened it down. We're going to go ahead and tighten these down, and then let's see if we got a working gun. Hopefully we do. If not, we'll tear back into it and see what the problem is. While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and check all my screws, make sure they're tight. I went to one match earlier this year and ended up Yukon gal, she actually had a Ruger Vaquero and her ejector rod assembly came apart while she was on the firing line. So but luckily they found everything and got it back together and went right back to the game. So let's see if we still got our 4 clicks. Still got our 4 clicks. Trigger pull is nice. Says I can feel in the hammer when I'm pulling it back, it's a little bit rougher than what it was. Like that is a brand new spring, so that might have something to do with it. But as far as the trigger pull is a whole lot better. And I'm sorry I don't have a trigger measuring tool. I'd love to get one and find out what the trigger pull is. I have another one of these Pistoleros from Pietta that I will be doing the same thing. So I'll be changing out the hand and the trigger spring. So with that being said, 20 minutes you can have it taken apart, put it back together, and be ready to go back again. So you know, it's actually one of those things to where you could have a couple on hand when you go to a match, and if something happens, you know, you can tear it apart pretty quick and get it back together. So with that being said, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. Make sure to leave a comment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment if you will, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.